Hello. In this podcast, we will be discussing subjects that may not be suitable for all ages.
Including, but not limited to, language, discussion of violence, sexual violence, and nudity.
Wait, this is a podcast. They can't even see the nudity if it's even in the movie.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, it doesn't
so
matter.
nix the last thing. The other things are still
there.
Still relevant.
Violence.
So, basically, no kids and grandma. Don't listen.
Don't listen. But anyway, enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to Living Vicariously,
the podcast where we talk about real-to-real horror.
I got a ton of Vicodin upstairs. Logan, and I like to watch and talk horror movies.
And I'm that poo under your fingernails, McCall, and I like to talk about true crime and murder.
Yeah.
And disease.
And diseases, yes.
And pestilence.
Pestilence.
Because
Putrescence.
the world is on fire.
The world's on fire.
The world's on fire
It's
and
falling
everybody's
apart.
afraid. So we're doing a quarantine episode.
Which is cool.
Which is so fun. How's your quarantine?
I mean, it's good. I mean, I've been wearing my mask. I have my,
I have a mask.
I have like 5 of them now. I'm like collecting them. It's
I
like a
that.
fashion statement now.
I have one and it's ripping and a bunch of fibers go into my nose the second I put it on. So when I'm at the grocery store, I'm like slowly clenching my fist. Like, please.
You're so upset.
Everything. I have like hairs in my mouth. I swallowed a full length. It must not have been mine because it felt long. But I put my mask on. We're in the grocery store and I'm like, cool, there's a hair in my mouth.
There's
and
a cool, awesome hair.
I can't dig it out of my mouth because you can't put your hands near your face in any way. So I'm just like, I'll just deal with it later when I get home and I wash my hands. And then I was like, no, it's in my throat. It's fine. I'll just live with this forever.
Oh my god.
Oh.
So you ended up like swallowing it?
Yeah, I swallowed it.
Well, I usually wear my glasses, but lately if I have to go out somewhere to do something that involves me wearing a mask, I will put my contacts in because I hate when my glasses fog up because of the mask. It pisses me off so much.
I like your glasses, by the way.
Thank you.
They're cute.
Thank you. I've had them for a year.
Have I said this before?
Nope.
All right. Well, I'm just noticing right now. Okay, well, have you ever sat there and thought, what color are Logan's eyes? Like, I should know that, right?
You ever sat there and said, Brendan, did you always have braces?
You did do that.
I did do that.
How long were you guys friends?
That
years?
was like a couple years at that point, wasn't it?
It was years in. Did he always have braces?
Did he always have...
When you guys were friends up until that point?
Brendan is here.
Brendan's here and he's nodding quietly. He's eating food.
He's consuming.
While we are the entertainment.
He's consuming the souls of the innocent.
Yep. That's what he eats for dinner.
That's what
all celiacs eat for dinner.
that's McCall's eldritch boyfriend.
He's just got Cthulhu tentacles.
Picking it up. Oh, did you see they're going to come out with a new Cthulhu or like Lovecraft's TV show?
What?
I think it's called Lovecraft Country.
Oh.
And it's like I'm torn because on one hand I think Lovecraft and he has had such an impact on horror and all that stuff, but on the other hand he's a horrible racist and anti-Semite that
that really puts a damper on
things. It's just kind of like it's hard. It's like
I think Jordan Peele's involved in making this one.
Yes, I think so too.
Cool, I like Jordan Peele.
Well, I don't know I'd have to look it up, but I don't know how did his Twilight Zone thing go? I feel like that didn't go over so well.
I have no idea.
At the same time, I feel like no Twilight Zone reboot has ever gone well, except for like the original Twilight Zone,
which wasn't a reboot.
Which wasn't a reboot.
How many reboots have they done of Twilight Zone?
I think this is like the 3rd one.
Damn. Is it on Netflix or is it just on regular TV?
I don't even know if it's on TV anymore.
I heard that he was making a new Twilight Zone,
and he did it.
See, that's all I got.
Watch any of it.
I didn't know. That's probably why he did so bad. We didn't watch it.
I've heard. I think I read like reviews of it, and it was just like it's okay, but it's nothing amazing.
Fair. There were no nurses had pig face twists or anything.
Nope, it's not. It's not. Black Mirror.
Oh no, Twilight Zone had the.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
I know.
We watched, Benson and I.
Yeah.
Like one episode of Black Mirror, and I was like, I hate it. So no more
That's
things.
what you said. You said you hated it.
I really didn't like it.
And I think there are episodes you would like.
There are episodes I would like. But
Like
I don't,
San Junipero.
I don't know. Because I don't want to watch them now, because I watched that one and I was like, I didn't feel good when I watched it. It felt very long.
They are, but you should watch San Junipero. It's really nice. It's good.
That's
it made me
good.
cry. It makes me cry, I should say. I cry.
Do you watch it to cry?
I watch it to cry, along with
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge.
Yep.
And then I watch Showgirls to feel better. About my own life and
It's
my
a
own
hard
life choices.
shift in media.
It's just like a right turn.
You know what I watched to cry?
What?
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Appa's Last Days or Appa's Lost Days?
No, that just makes me kind of angry and upset.
Oh,
Tales of Ba Sing Se.
Tales of Ba Sing Se. Yep.
When
Uncle Iroh.
That should have been the ending tale. I was like fully an adult in college watching it, and I was just sitting in my bunk bed sobbing.
Well, the voice actor
Died.
but his son had really died too. I'm pretty sure.
What?
And that so it was like I think
It makes it like 10 times worse.
pretty sure it was dedicated to him.
Shit.
I'd have to look into it
Oh my
again. I
God.
feel like I read something like that, but it's like you read it on the internet and it's like,
Is this real?
is this real?
The episode was dedicated to someone.
Yeah.
It was. I want to say Mako, but I don't.
Well, I think Mako was the voice actor.
I can,
so maybe
like, see
maybe the
the-
episode was dedicated to him, and I'm just
I
misremembering.
think it's. I don't know.
I might just be misremembering. I am misremembering.
All right.
Mhm.
You're not gonna follow that up with anything.
No, the drawing of like his son was actually a
Yeah.
drawing of the voice actor.
That makes it.
That's what it was.
That makes it actually so much sadder.
I farted, by the way.
I know. That's why it smells kind of vaguely bad in here.
Dog's Purpose.
I don't watch that.
Thrice.
No.
I cried thrice
That's
in the
because
theater
they-
with Grandma.
They gave you. You knew it was just gonna be dog fodder. That dog
Yeah.
is dying so much.
I knew it, but I still went and I watched it, and I cried.
I can't do that. I can't do dogs dying. I'm wearing my dead dog shirt. So
Is that the shirt that
this
you...
is the shirt I wore when Zeus died. I remember it because Grandma took a picture of me with my dying dog. And she sent it to me in a text like here, and I was like,
And your face is like that Mr. Mime picture that I've shown you, just kind of like...
so sad. But I saved it to my phone because I'm like, well, that's the last picture of my fucking dog.
See, I just have pictures of Zeus, like, laying down on uncomfortable things. Those
He
are my
was
favorite
laying
pictures.
down, and he was very uncomfortable. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I love my dog so much. I should
That's
burn
great.
this shirt.
That's great. Oh, that
Why
was
have
one
I
of my
kept
shirts.
this?
That's one of my shirts
I
that I
love
had
it.
in, like, I got
It's
it from
comfy.
H&M, like, my sophomore or my freshman year of college.
Yeah. And you got rid of it, and I was like, yoink.
Because I put it on one day and I was just like, uh-oh, someone got tubby.
Your closet, no. My closet is mostly your clothes you got bored of and just got rid of, and
Yeah.
I was like, cool, men's clothes.
You were like,
Thanks.
yoink. Comfy men's clothes that have been lived in.
That's my style. And I'm sticking to it.
Also, Dad's clothes. I think you have a couple of you stole Dad's fleece.
That's my fleece now. I'm keeping it forever until I die. I will be buried in it. He'll never get it. Or in my will, I will leave it to him. One of the two. It
You can
depends on
have
how I
it
feel at
back.
the end.
You can have it back,
Here
Dad.
you go. This is your dead daughter, please. Just like my dead dog shirt.
I knew you so briefly.
You dead so dog.
dog.
We're having a funeral.
Yeah. It's Mr. Toglovich.
Mr. Toglovich. Oh my god. Should we start?
Yeah, we
talking
should
about-
start.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to be talking about the movie Quarantine.
Quarantine. That was a really good siren
Why?
noise.
Are we like one of those YouTube channels now that like do all the memes and stuff?
I just want to be relevant. I just want to be popular.
I just want to be relevant.
I just want to live my life. Quarantine.
So the movie's Quarantine. This is actually I watched the remake. This is a remake of a 2007 movie called Rec. Like, you know, it's REC, like, you know, like when we're recording something. And that's a 2007 Spanish film. And then Quarantine is the remake of it.
American
in
version?
Americanized.
Okay.
Yep. It's good. I
Okay,
had
wait.
to rent it.
Rec is 2007.
Yes.
Quarantine is
2008. Sorry, I
2008,
should have
okay.
said that. It's funny because a lot of people, like, of course, the dichotomy of both of the different movies. A lot of people seem to prefer the Spanish one, and I would love to watch it.
You couldn't find it?
No, it was there. I could rent it too. The reason I went with Quarantine was just because of the ease of the language.
Yeah.
And I needed to get this watched and ready for the podcast.
That's fair.
And I was like, I don't know.
Let's just do the one that,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, and I probably could have done both because both of them, Quarantine was an hour and a half.
Nice.
And Rec, I believe, is like an hour and 17 minutes.
Sweet.
So it's like very doable.
Very watchable.
And I looked up like if there was any like significant differences, and plot wise it's both pretty much the same. The only difference is like the tenants that are in this building complex that it
Slightly
takes place in.
changed?
Yeah, different people. So it's like, and then of course there's like a rating on IMDb.
Oh.
And it's like the Spanish one does have a higher rating of like a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
And then the Americanized one has like 5 out of 10. But I actually really enjoyed
That's
the
not
Americanized
a
one.
very good rating.
No, I actually enjoyed it. I don't know what the problem was. Like I don't like that's really I'm like I don't know what everybody's problem with it was. Like
They have like critics reviews.
I should have looked more into the reviews. I don't usually like to look too much into the reviews because I don't want them to influence how I feel about the movie.
The way, yeah.
I'd rather just have it be like I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Cast wise, we got Jennifer Carpenter. Name doesn't sound familiar, but you would recognize her. She played Deborah Morgan in Dexter,
Oh shit!
and she was also in
Someone
White
said
Chicks.
I look like her. Which
Oh, yeah?
do I look like her?
No, you're too short.
No, they said face wise.
Oh, okay.
and I was
no,
like,
I don't see that.
I don't know, man.
I don't see it.
But
I'm looking
thank
at it right
you.
now.
I liked her in Dexter.
We got Steve Harris, Columbus Short, Jay Hernandez, and then we have a couple other people. We don't. Nobody too huge, I don't think. At least not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But it was a really good ensemble cast. Like I think everyone did a really good job.
Pulled their weight.
Everyone did a really good job. So it's directed by John Eric Dowdle. Dowdle. Dowdle.
Dowdle?
Yes.
Oh my god, I love the word dawdle. So I would love saying his name.
So basically the movie takes place in Los Angeles. I keep wanting to call her Deborah. But
Deborah.
But Angela and her cameraman Scott are going to like shadow some
Is she like
firefighters.
A news?
Yes, news anchor.
Okay.
Yep, she's a news anchor. So they're going to shadow some firefighters on their
Firefighting
watch.
day.
Mm-hmm. And they
Their
go.
one day of firefighting.
Yeah, they go to the firehouse, and they have like a lot of fun, like kind of walking around and kind of introduces you to the characters. One thing I did notice was the difference between the Spanish version and between Rec and Quarantine, or that people noted was that in Rec there was less of a focus on the characters as people, and it was more about what's going on. And then Quarantine focused on the people and the characters more. Which I'm like, I can see the benefit to both of those things.
I like both of those things. I love good character development, so I get it.
The movie's just a little too short to have too much like serious character development.
Yeah.
You know? But so they are going to shadow these firemen. They meet up with two of them. There's Jake, and then there's oh god, what was his name? I just looked it up too. Fletcher. Jake and Fletcher. And they are gonna be the people that they're shadowing. They're both young, handsome men. Both of them can get it.
Hell yeah.
And
you want that calendar.
And then one of them, Fletcher, has like the only mustache. Like it's just like huge porn star mustache.
Porn stash.
Is
this in present day?
2008? It's like 2000. It's supposed to be present day 2008.
Sounds good. Spring break 2008.
2008, baby. How old were we in? I was probably an 8th grader in 2008.
Oh.
I know.
So I'm in the throes of just getting really weird.
Yep. But so they do eventually get a call. The whole beginning part is really just character development. Nothing truly intense happens.
Nothing crazy.
At one point, Fletcher does make a bet with Jake. Like, they're wearing microphones, and at one point they're like talking to each other far away, and Angela's like, turn up their microphones, let's hear it. And they hear that he's like, I bet you $100 I can sleep with her by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey, I can hear you, like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, fuck you.
And like, I'm sitting here like, okay, you don't want him, I'll take him.
I would
Shit.
not have said anything, and I would just, had fun with it all day.
Mm-hmm. But, so they eventually do get a call to go to this, like, apartment complex building. And it's run by this man named Ivan, I believe was his name. Nope. It was Yuri.
No.
But it's Yuri Ivanov. So that's why I was thinking
Okay.
Ivanov. So, but it's Yuri. And there are several different tenants in this building.
Is he Russian?
Yes. I believe
Cool.
he's Russian of some distinction.
I've heard of that name before.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yuri on Ice.
But he's from Japan.
But the guy who
Oh my God.
trains him is Russian.
Holy fuck. Okay, sorry. I just connected the dots.
Yeah. So anyway.
I can't
Well, and
believe
also
I didn't notice that.
no, and then also there's two Yuris. There's Japanese
There's
Yuri,
a-
and then there's
Yeah, no,
there's
and
Russian
there's a Russian.
Yuri.
Okay, all right. I haven't watched it in a long time. Okay.
I haven't either. I watched the whole first season. I don't know if there are more seasons. I just
don't know.
would like. I was like, they just be gay?
Can they just be gay?
Can they just why all this
Japan, can
baiting?
they just be gay?
Why all this baiting? Just make them gay. Anyway,
It's like a whole genre. I don't know.
anyway. So leads him in. There's a woman on the top floor named Mrs. Espinoza who was like screaming and being weird. And so they eventually go in to
Maybe
check
don't
on
take the
her.
reporter on that one.
They don't know what it is until they get there.
I'm just saying, maybe the reporter goes to like cats in a tree. Save Miss Muffin.
So we got 2 police officers, 2 LAPD going up with them, and the 2 firefighters. And then there's 2 firefighters that we know, 2 LAPD, and then our camera crew.
Back.
They go into this apartment, and this woman is just kind of standing there, and she's like drooling down her mouth, and she's got blood all on her nightgown. Her dog goes crazy and like runs out, like.
I'm sure the dog wanted to get out.
But eventually they try to like get to her. She ends up biting the neck of one of the police officers and ripping like a chunk of his flesh off.
Fuck.
And then they end up taking him downstairs, and they're like, we need to like get him situated. And there's like, well, there's no doctors in the place, and they're like, so, but there's a vet, and he comes over and he's like, I can do some stuff.
I can put him
So-
down for
But
you.
so as they're going through this, all of a sudden, there's it's a jump scare. The body of Fletcher slams onto the bottom floor, of the ground floor of the
Like he was thrown
apartment.
off the
Yeah, he was
stairs?
thrown off the balcony,
Oh, fuck.
and he's like critical condition.
He got critted.
And so he also gets rushed in, and the guy's looking.
And
at
the
him.
vet's like, come on, guys.
And then they eventually do end up. She tries to. This Espinoza woman does kill a housekeeper, and then she rushes at the police officer and the camera crew, and the police officer ends up shooting her.
Yeah.
And then
I'm surprised they didn't shoot her when she took a chunk off a guy's neck.
that's what I was thinking. So they also find another woman who is like kind of having similar. So she's kind of like sitting there and she's like drooling a lot, and they take her down and they put her with like because she's also in a very bad state. And so they like some other kind of stuff happens. There's a lot of drama between the tenants, but it's really nothing.
I like that.
It's really nothing.
It's
too
apartment drama.
It is kind of like apartment drama. There's like the drunk guy. There's like the opera teacher who's a drug addict with his like very young protege / probably lover.
I was gonna say, meh.
So anyway, no, that's about it. And then after a while, they end up getting locked into this building because like the CDC is like quarantined them.
Yup.
And they get like put in like the big, like, like when they're gonna fumigate a house or something like that.
The big circus tent.
Yes,
bubbles?
basically like a big circus tent thing. And so they're cut off.
Oh.
The military surrounded this place. The CDC are there. And the vet at one point kind of goes into like he kind of like is like talking to everybody. He's like, guys, I think I know what's going on. Like because he was just like, it's based on their symptoms. He's like, we see this in vets a lot. He's like, this is
Rabies?
they're all the symptoms of rabies.
Bitch.
And
We got raging zombies up in here.
he's like, so he's
What's
like,
the 28 days later?
28 days
when
later,
they were
yeah.
rage
Yeah.
zombies? Yeah.
He's like, these are like all the same symptoms as rabies. They're like, well, can't we get a cure? Blah blah. Or how do we even know that they have your? He's like, no. The only way you can tell if somebody has rabies or has a disease like that is through a brain sample. And so
Which is when they're dead.
Mhm. And they're all talking about it, and eventually the CDC do send in some people to look at these people, and they kick everybody out. And the camera crew ends up finding like a window that they can peer in, and they watch them drill into the head of Fletcher to take a brain sample.
Oh my god.
Because they're like, oh shit, the vet was right. Like, this is like some kind of rabies. Well, then the people who are in there who are like the bitten people end up waking up and going bonkers.
Hell yeah. Those
And-
employees are dead.
This is where it starts to get really crazy, because like, so eventually they find out, so one of the CDC guys gets out, and they're like, what the fuck is going on? And they're like, oh, he basically ends up telling them that at one of the local vet clinics, one of the dogs ended up going absolutely bonkers. Every dog that was bit by that dog ended up showing the same behavior, and that dog was traced back to this apartment building.
That lady's dog. That
No,
ran away.
well, that dog did have it as well, but it wasn't that dog. It was another dog in the building that was owned by a mom and a family.
Yeah.
And this little girl was telling the news reporter about her dog Max, who was in the hospital.
Aww.
And her daughter's been sick for a while. And so like they're all like looking at the mom and the daughter, and they're like, she could have it. And the mom's like, no, she just has bronchitis. It's like just a little bronchitis. As she's saying this, the daughter rears back and bites her in the neck, and then just bolts.
How old's the daughter?
Like 10, maybe?
Okay.
8,
Was she
10?
a good child actor?
Yeah, she's actually pretty good.
I like that. Okay.
But so then that's where things really start to fall apart. Like, it's just a matter of like people getting picked off at that point.
I mean, are they just putting them down at that point? Because if you have rabies, they can't fix it.
Mhm.
So
but no, it's like the fastest acting rabies ever. It's like they're bitten, and then with like in minutes they're
bitten, and then it's the end of Their Eyes Are Watching God.
Yep. So,
Sorry, you didn't like that?
I like that book.
I love that book.
But Little Pound Cake, or no, not Little Pound Cake. What was his name?
Tea
Shortbread Tea Cake.
Tea cake.
Shortbread cookie
Shortbread
cake.
tea cake. Oh, spoilers for Their Eyes Are Watching God. If you're, reading that book,
The 3 AP Lit students who are listening.
who are like, son of a bitch.
I just got to that part. Anyway, at this point, it just becomes the matter of them trying to get out of the building, which they can't. Like, at one point, the opera teacher finally goes bonkers, and he just, like, he finally, like, he breaks a window, and then he takes, like, a piece of the glass and starts cutting at, like, the plastic thing, and a sniper across the street just right through the head.
Deadeye.
Yeah, gets him.
You got Hawkeye.
So it's like that's kind of the point where they realize, like, they're not gonna let us out of here alive.
Rad.
And at one point that kind of foreshadowed it, and it made me be like, I bet I know what's going on. Was at one point earlier in the film, a rat kind of rushes the cameraman, and he smushes it, and he's like, that rat was coming right for me. It looked like it was gonna like hurt me. It's like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, we got a problem. I was like, this is gonna be bubonic plague situation.
Bubonic plague.
Everyone basically gets turned into zombie creatures or gets ripped apart.
Oh.
Who gets ripped apart by the other zombie creatures. There is one funny part. Like, it's by the end. By this point, it's like the last two people are like the cameraman and Angela.
Yeah.
Cameraman Scott and Angela. And they're like running away, and they're kind of like, the camera's like showing like all the people who are zombies, and they're all like going like, like running at them or like making growling noises. And then one of like the old tenement house lady, like the Yuri's wife, Wanda, she just kind of is standing there at one point, just like like, but it just kind of like goes.
What was that for the audience?
Oh, it was just kind of like,
You know, listener.
You might have to take a picture and
You can
and
just
post-
make up whatever face he made.
She just looked confused. She was just like, less like.
Are we shooting?
Exactly. It was just like, he just goes, and everyone else is like, ah, and she's just kind of like, Guh.
Standing there.
Like, standing.
Guh.
Guh. Gorsh. So then they end up running into the attic, and they knew that this attic was rented by a man who was from Boston, and they hadn't seen him in a while.
Uh-oh.
Well, as they go up, they realize that this guy had broken into a military complex. He had stolen, like, basically a doomsday virus,
What?
and was putting it in rats so that it would cause an Armageddon, like a viral outbreak Armageddon situation.
Why?
No idea. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
I guess.
And it's really creepy because at this point, like their flashlight on the only light they have is the camera light, and it eventually gets smashed by like a child zombie, and so then they have to switch to the night vision camera, and you got the classic night vision camera sound going. And they eventually find, I think this is the reason why they hadn't heard from this guy, or why it hadn't, like, the rats really hadn't broken out yet, was because they walked in, they see, like, the emaciated body of, like, most likely the guy from Boston, who's, like, one of the rabies zombies.
Oh.
And he's been clearly up there for a very long time.
He got bit by his own rat.
And so, like, that's one of the reasons I think that's why it was kind of localized to this apartment, because he hadn't had the chance to release all the rats into the wild or whatever.
They're just stuck in the apartment building.
Exactly. So, the guy does eventually kill Scott, and she runs away. And she manages to get the camera. Angela manages to get the camera and is like looking around, and she ends up seeing the guy like hunched over Scott's body, and he's like eating Scott.
Oh,
like he's like eating him.
Yeah.
Like, and then he turns around and like chases Angela. She falls.
So they're just zombies, correct?
That's the first time that. Well, no, they all do kind of like munch at the faces too.
Okay.
They're not like the classic zombies where they're like ripping them apart.
I need to eat.
Exactly.
They're just doing it to be gross.
Yeah, or something. But that guy was fully eating it. I wouldn't be surprised if the reason he was eating it was because he's been upstairs for so long by himself.
Emaciated. Okay, that makes sense.
And he's just rabid enough that he just went to town on that guy.
Hungry.
And so then the most memorable part of this movie happens, where she ends up falling and the camera's in front of her, and she's like, you see her slowly inching forward to get to the camera, and then right as she's reaching out, something unseen grabs her from behind and drags her away, and she screams.
Deborah.
And then that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I do really want to see the Spanish version, Rec, because I want to see what the source material is, and I want to see, and from what I read too, like the director of this one tried to stay like true to the source material, didn't try to like deviate or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I very much, I liked it. The way that I know a movie has piqued my interest is usually I'm one of those people that's like a multitasker. I will watch a movie. I think my record is 4. I was watching a movie. I had my laptop up looking up something for like Pokemon. I had my DS in one hand and then my phone sitting, and I was like kind of like on Facebook. And Dad was just like
staring at you. Like,
how are you doing this? Like, and I know what was going on in the movie. It's not like when Mom looks at her iPad for 2 seconds and then looks up and goes, I don't know who these main characters are anymore.
We have to start over.
What's a Harry Potter? What is a Skywalker?
Where am I? Is this my house?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But yes, that was Quarentine.
Quarantine.
It's on Amazon Prime. You can rent it for like $4.
If you really want to freak yourself out in these trying times, hell yeah.
I enjoyed it. All right, tell me about your thingamajiggy.
Do you want to make a drink?
Well, I've been talking, so I still have White Claw.
All right. I don't.
Oh, so you'd like to make a drink then?
No, it's cool. You finish your drink, and then...
Wow.
That was like a horrible hiccup. That
was
like,
horrible.
Hurt me. It hurt my bones.
I was like, are you okay?
Are you okay? So, I'm gonna do Typhoid Mary.
Typhoid Barbara.
Typhoid Barbara. I feel really bad for this lady, honestly. But I will see what your opinion of her is by the end of this.
Okay.
Maybe I might be biased, because I obviously have a
bias.
Bye. You know. Anyway, my sources are NCBI, already bad.
The anal.
The Annals of Gastroenterology by Filio Marlieni, Gregory Choukalas.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Am I? Mariana Karamanow.
Maybe you should have looked at these before
I did.
you
I
spoke.
fully read them out loud to myself, and I was like, God, I got this.
I got this on lock.
George Androustos. I feel like that one was right.
Yeah, sure.
Sweet. The CDC website on typhoid fever and paratyphoid fever, which I don't know what that is. I should have probably maybe looked into whatever that was. Typhoid Fever History by Yolanda Smith. Weird History, a YouTube channel. They did an episode on Typhoid Mary. And then Typhoid Mary, The Bringer of Disease and Death, Biographics YouTube channel. So, I'm going to give you a background on what typhoid fever is.
It's a disease.
It's an illness. Boom, done. It's caused by
Viral bacterial.
bacteria.
Okay.
It's caused by Salmonella typhi.
Okay.
And the CDC said the worldwide, I call it in my notes T fever because I think it sounds rad. But
Well, it sounds like the T virus from Resident Evil.
oh shit.
That's probably why it sounds good to you.
That maybe is why it sounds really cool. But T fever, anyway, it affects
Just call it, like, instead of T virus, call it like the T-teria.
the T-teria. I like that. Wow, we're really good. We are really...
Call me CDC. You want more names for
we
your
should
cool
market
diseases?
typhoid fever out.
Oh, wait, I think it's already been done.
Oh. I don't think anyone wants it.
No.
There's no way to get someone to purchase that.
Nope.
Anyway, it affects 11 to 21 million people a year. Those currently,
Still?
though. Yeah.
Okay.
It's said every year, so. It's mostly in areas that are higher populated and have less currency. So there's less, like, ability for fresh water, less ability for wiping down surfaces? What is that? Keeping things super
Sanitary?
clean?
Sanitizing?
Thank you.
What are you trying to tell me, Charlie?
What are you trying to tell me? It's spread through sewage contamination in food and water, aka being in contact with someone's poo
Bleh.
that is like infected. You have to get the infection, and then
Eating shit.
just eating shit. I mean, obviously, people aren't just like taking handfuls
Guess
and just.
what? That's how you get Giardia, too.
That's how you get Giardia.
3
But
times. Hashtag Logan shits his pants.
hashtag Logan shits his pants. My favorite hashtag. I've never actually looked up what people put in the hashtag, mainly because I think it's just a bunch of bad shit. But anyway, so if you eat or drink something that was touched by a person with T fever,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to be someone who doesn't wash their hands after going to the bathroom.
Yep.
So, or if like you're
I am paying attention. I'm looking up.
Are
to
you
see,
looking up Logan shits his
I'm
pants?
looking it up just to see on the odd chance.
anyone's hashtagging under that. Or like if your water line is contaminated with sewage and you're like washing your fruits or anything.
No results.
Nothing. Whoa, weird. I thought
I'm
we
glad.
were more popular than that.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Logan just heaved a sigh of relief.
Oh, good.
Thank God.
Only 5 people know that I've shit my pants.
And one of them is my mother.
Yeah.
So we're safe here.
Actually, I've told all my friends.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yep. I think it's funny. Everyone's like, that's something I would take to my grave. And I'm like, literally, I think it's hilarious.
It's hilarious. Also, it's not a big deal. It's not like
Like,
you
you can't-
consciously were like, I'm going to shit my pants.
I'm going to...
You know, it sounds like a fun time.
I'm going to shit my pants and then magic it away. The Sorting Hat can have sex, but it chooses not to.
And, of course, Dobby has IBS.
Yeah. Your favorite.
I love that one. I don't want to brag. So, when you ingest the food, it multiplies in your bloodstream, and then the symptoms are fever. Duh. Did you just smell your hair?
It smells really good.
Okay, I was like, are you being like a creep in a movie who like stands behind a woman and like...
No, my hair just smells... I washed it.
We're watching Hannibal right now?
And he smells hair.
Well, he smells everything. But he literally went up behind a character and, like, like, creepily sniffed them. And the dude was like, did you just smell me? And he, like, whatever, pawned it off as like, I just am so sophisticated and my nose, blah, 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 blah. Instantly, I'd be like, serial killer.
You are Evian skin cream.
But yeah, no, I didn't. He smelled a person. I'm like, you would have been arrested on the spot. I would have called 911 if you smelled me. But anyway, it gives you fever.
What if I did like this? Just like, did you fart?
Did you fart? Ew.
I think that blonde lady farted.
I think that blonde lady farted. You get fever, weakness, stomach pain, headaches, diarrhea, or constipation? Question mark. I don't think anyone gets constipation. Loss of appetite, probably from all the diarrhea.
A loss of appetite. Sign me up. I
love it.
I need to drop 10 pounds before this wedding.
Possible rash, and
That's what you have.
that's what I have. It's typhoid. It's all that shit I've been eating.
Yeah. I told you to stop eating shit, McCall. How many times have I told you to stop eating shit? But you keep just shoveling it down.
Oh my.
You're like one of the creatures in Human Centipede. You're just eating
God.
the shit.
What's the thing in Rick and Morty where they're like watching the infinite channels and it's a guy that eats shit?
Oh,
Mark, the judge says you can't eat shit anymore.
I can't remember.
Anyway,
Sorry.
I thought this was cool and weird and bad. Typhoid clots the victim's blood and then it makes their stomachs distend. Also, I saw a lot of pictures I didn't want to see. Anyway, so the pathogen responsible for the disease was not established until the late 19th century, and the first effective vaccination was available 1 year after that. So they didn't really have, like, ways to fight it early on. Some historians think that it caused a plague in Athens in like 430 BC. I am so good at reading. It killed 1/3 of the population, and then it killed a bunch of people in Jamestown when they settled here. It killed like 6,000 people, and then 80,000 soldiers died of it and dysentery during the Civil War. It's apparently a really big problem for soldiers. I'm assuming
Soldiers eat a lot of shit.
they love eating shit. They need to stop doing that. Wars have been fought over the right to eat
War
shit.
never changes.
Just keep doing it. It's just probably really dirty.
Yeah.
But anyway. So, okay. I'm going to take you back to the 1800s.
Okay, I'm going in my mind palace. I'm going back to the 1800s.
Back to your past lives. All of them, you were shitting your pants.
Yep, but at the same time, I was always royalty.
So it was okay if
Yeah.
you did it.
In fact, I at one point started a trend of people shitting their pants because they thought it was something that the
Trendy.
courtly people would do.
And then there was a typhoid outbreak.
Yep.
So
Well, they needed to stop eating my shit.
So germ theory was really new in the 1800s. That means some people thought, I don't need to wash my hands because I don't want to, and therefore I'm not gonna. Germs don't exist.
Like those men out there who don't wash their hands after taking a pee.
You have to wash your hands.
I wanted to text one of my friends because I knew that he was one of those people. Like he doesn't wash his hands after he takes a pee, and I really wanted to message him, and be like, Anthony, how is this affecting you? Because I know that you.
We're gonna start over. Blank name redacted.
Do you know how many Anthonys there are in the world?
I'm sure if he listens to this, he's gonna be like, "Oh shit, I don't wash my hands." He's talking about me. What if all of your friends named Anthony are like, "Oh my god, he's talking about me."
He's talking about me. Then I'll get a text maybe in like 10 years when we really blow up.
10 years?
Yep, it's gonna take a while.
Our 4,000th episode?
Yep, it's gonna be a long time.
It's gonna be forever. We're really not doing this well.
Anyway, I was wondering how he was doing with this quarantine based on the fact that he has to wash his hands now. I thought it was funny, and now it's not.
How's he doing?
I don't know. I didn't text him at...
I didn't. Oh my god, good story.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's primo content.
Well, you kept interrupting me.
That's
like
our whole podcast.
Like an interrupter.
Yeah.
It's
no.
us interrupting each other, mostly me.
Mostly me. Okay.
You sit there and listen diligently, and I'm like, fuck what you have to say.
Did you hear this?
Yeah.
William Budd, an English doctor, he was handling the outbreak of typhoid fever. He's the one who noticed that people had dirty poo on their hands and then were touching shit, and then other people got sick.
Just kind of mushing it around and going,
And they're like, oh, this is 100% what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the one that was like, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't eat shit. And then the first actual effective vaccine was made by Almroth Edward Wright, and it was made for military use because of,
military.
they love eating poop. And then it didn't really become big use for the general public, and that meant that the general public had a lot of problems with it, and the death toll was approximately 10% in the 1800s.
Yikes.
So, it became less prevalent later because people fucking wash their hands, and the vaccine exists. So, Mary, oh my god, I just watched so many documentaries about it. Why am I having a problem?
Mulberry bush.
Milan. Mary Milan. It sounds wrong. Feels not right. Mary was born in 1869. God, we're so good at this.
I'm great.
I watched the movie.
I heard how they pronounce the names.
Yeah, I watched things about it. They said her name. I don't know how to say it now.
And he didn't write a phonetic?
No, I didn't. Why would I do that? I don't know how that works.
You stupid fool.
God damn it. So in
Foolish fool. Who is a fool?
She was born in 1869 in Ireland. She immigrated to the U.S. on 1884, and she worked in houses for wealthy people. She did housework and shit. And then one employer was like, you need to cook. And then she found out she was, like, fucking good at cooking. So she was a cook for the family of Henry Warren, a wealthy banker in New York. And they basically got, like, a summer home for a vacation. They hired a staff, because they're fucking rich. And then August 27th to September 3rd, in 1906, 6 of the 11 people at the house got typhoid fever. And typhoid fever still had that 10% cases of people dying, but it was way more common. Typhoid fever had a very negative stereotype of being like a poor person thing because of like bad hygiene. All the shit eating. The like population density, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when a really wealthy...
It's really hard when people are when you walk out in the streets, people are shitting on your shoes.
People are just shitting everywhere.
Pulling down their pants and...
That's what it's like. Everywhere.
Sitting out the window and just kind of like letting it rain.
That's why we're in quarantine right now.
Yep, because people can't fucking wash their hands.
So people thought it was really weird that this really wealthy family got it. So they were staying in that vacation house, and the owner of the house was like, I don't want my business to suffer because of this, because now he's worried people are gonna be like, well, that's the place where typhoid gets you because their water's contaminated, they're all eating poo. So he hired a sanitary engineer, that's a thing, to investigate. His name was George Sober, and he initially was like, it's probably
and he was drunk as hell.
He was always drunk.
Yeah.
Just to combat that last name.
Exactly.
He was like, I think it was the freshwater clams you guys ate. They were probably full of shit. Don't think about it. And then he's like, maybe I should just like interview the staff, see what's up.
Oh yeah, Mary, shitting everywhere.
She's covered in shit. She was a carrier of the disease, but she was perfectly healthy. So she's like, I don't have it. I'm doing great. And he was like, okay, it's probably the freshwater clams. But he kept looking into it just because not all of the family ate the clams that he said got everyone sick. So just to be really thorough, he really checked it out. He thought Mary seemed weird. And did you fart again?
Yeah.
Because it's in my nose now, and I'm really mad at you. So, at this point, germ theory's like still new. So, he's like, you know what I think? This perfectly healthy woman is giving people typhoid. Which is fucking insane at that time. People are like, I just learned that germs are a thing, and now you're telling me healthy people can make people sick? What are you talking about?
That's some quick, like, biochemical warfare that she's unleashing already.
Yeah, well, she doesn't know she's doing it, but, so he has now figured out, he's like, I think it was her. I bet you it was. So he looked into her past, and he found out that she's a cook for many families. She moved houses all the time. She cooked for like 8 families, and 7 of those households had outbreaks of typhoid. 22 people had signs of typhoid.
Coincidence? I think not.
22 people had typhoid fever in the family she worked for, and it did result in a couple deaths. So he's now following Mary, saying that she is giving people typhoid, even though she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, I think you killed people, and I need to get samples from you. And she was like, what do you mean, good sir? And he said, poop
Bend
in
over.
this cup. He needs feces, urine, and blood from her. And she promptly grabbed a serving fork and was like, get the fuck out of my face, bro. And he was like, why would she be so mad at me?
I was just asking her to shit in a cup.
Shit in a cup and let me take it. Me, a stranger. So, she never had typhoid ever in her life. And early on, she submitted a test to a chemist to be like, I don't have it. The chemist was a respected physician. He did the test and he's like, she doesn't have it. She doesn't have any trace of the disease. They think at this time she might have been in like remission or something. That's why it didn't show up. So in her mind, she's like, I got tested. I don't have it. Fuck you. I'm going to keep shoving my dirty hands and stuff. Serving it to people.
And as she's doing this, she's just stuffing a turkey.
Yes. With her dirty
Full
hands.
of
She's
shit.
licking them and then putting them back in the turkey.
And then shitting in it.
And that's the secret.
Basting
It's her
it.
secret sauce. Ugh.
Well, actually, if you think about it, when you're basting a turkey, you're really just, like, covering it in its own butt juices.
Is that where the juice comes out?
But yeah, because you jam the stuffing in there, you cook it, and then while it's cooking, you take a turkey baster.
It's like the whole it's like the meat is sweating out its deliciousness, and then you're drizzling the deliciousness back on top.
It's butt juice.
But they've ripped out the intestines, so it's not really like butt anymore.
Oh, it's butt.
It's just a whole...
Anyway.
This is a gross episode.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Lot of talking about shit eating.
Yeah. So she's moving from job to job, and then, where was I? What was I saying? At this time, like 3,000 in the year 1907, there was kind of an outbreak. 3,000 people in New York had it, and there was no disease, there was no vaccine at this point, so you might be fucked. Like, you might just straight up die.
Get fucked.
Or you're in for, like, a really bad couple... I should have looked up the duration.
Yeah.
An extended period of time.
Wow, professional.
I know what I'm talking about. Please, I'm an expert on this subject. So, George is now still following Mary around. It's been like a fucking year. And now he's contacted a couple doctors, one at the New York Department of Health, a doctor named Josephine Baker, and the police department to fucking get this bitch and make her... I need her poop in this cup. It's not weird.
It's not 2 girls, 1 cup. It's just the one
This
girl
is
with the
science.
1 cup. This is science, poo cup.
And she is like, no, I'm not gonna fucking do it. And the police show up like, ma'am, you got this freak wants you to shit in the cup.
Holding her at gunpoint, like, you shit in that
Shit,
bucket.
right, the gun is just right up to her head. She's crying.
She's already shitting. She's shitting while
The doctor's like, no, the good shit. God damn it.
Try to catch it in a little, like,
my
cup. We're doing great.
She runs from
They don't
them.
own styrofoam or anything like that at point. So it's like...
It's his
like
Tupperware. It's his home Tupperware.
It's probably like a glass. And you
It
can
is a
see
glass.
it.
No, yeah. And he loves
It
it.
looks like a chocolate
Dr.
shake.
Sober is like, this is why I'm a
Alcoholic.
scientific engineer, whatever the fuck he is. So she runs from them for like 3 to 5 hours. They like straight up chase her around with the poo glass, and she's like, fucking no.
Just do it!
Please. She was found positive for Salmonella typhi, And they were like, cool, you're going to North Brother Island at Riverside Hospital for the quarantined, and you just get to live in that hellscape. Bye! And she's like, why is this happening to me? She's there for 2 years, and then she sues the Department of Health, and that does not work. And they did, like, a really bad job of talking to her through this. They were like, I think that it's coming from your gallbladder. I think how you're excreting it is coming from the gallbladder. So if we take out your gallbladder, we might be able to have you not be infecting other people. And then, but she really didn't get what they were saying, and then a couple doctors were like, it might work, but it might not. I don't know. So she's like, fuck no, are you taking out my organs and shit? No. And so they just kept her there for a really long time. In 1910, so she was locked up since 1907. It is now 1910.
Jesus Christ.
A new health commissioner's like, we'll release her. We'll get her a new job where she's not fingering people's food, and it'll be fine. But they didn't really, like, help her very much. They were like, you can't be a cook. Bye. And she was like, oh, okay. I didn't really prepare for this. I've been in quarantine for 3 years now. I don't have, like, a resume.
My resume kind of fell off. I don't know if it's gonna...
So, ma'am, what's this gap
this
in your ears here? Oh, I was quarantined because I'm contagious.
Because I had typhoid.
Because I'll kill you if I touch you with my poo fingers. So she got a job as a laundry woman, but that didn't stick because working in laundry at that time is a huge bitch because everyone's wearing petticoats and shit. They don't have laundry rooms and blah, blah, blah. So they're like whacking clothes on stones. I don't fucking know what they're doing. This isn't Beauty and the Beast, the live action one where Emma Stone makes her own washing machine. Like, that wasn't a thing. And you get paid way less. And Mary was a really good cook. So she's like, fuck this, I'm gonna go back to cooking.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
So she starts cooking again. She cooks at a few different places after she's released from the quarantine. They were like, just don't cook and keep good hygiene and you're fine. But they didn't, help her with a job, and they didn't also tell her how to keep good hygiene. There was no, like, helpful process.
Please wash your hands.
They were just like, just don't be disgusting, and they threw her out the door. So...
Kicked her.
Fuck you. So she also felt like she was some sort of scapegoat, because at this time, the Irish were coming to America, and they were, like, getting a lot of persecution for being Irish. So in her mind, they had a typhoid outbreak in these wealthy families, and they needed someone to blame it on. They found this Irish cook. They used her as a scapegoat. They kept her in quarantine for a couple years, and they just were like, and now we're done. So she's like, okay, if I go back, it's fine. It's not a big deal. They got their scapegoat. I'm free. This is how I'm going to live my life. She then begins to work at the Sloan Maternity in Manhattan, which is a hospital, as a cook, under a fake name, Mary Brown, and she infects 25 people in 3 months, and 2 people die.
Oh my god.
And the doctor at the hospital...
And she doesn't see a link.
No, she's like, I don't know, I don't know, I went blind for a second,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know how to read suddenly, I don't know.
And a doctor at the hospital approaches George sober, and he's like, hey, we have typhoid at this hospital, and I have a suspicion it's this lady. Do you know her? And George is like, I looked at her poo in that cup for weeks. So he's like, get her.
Get that poo lady.
So they kidnap her again. They take her to North Brother Island.
They knock her out. They put her in a tub of ice, and they remove her gallbladder.
They take her to the island, and she never leaves. She is there until the day she dies.
Oh.
Yeah, that was their answer was, you get no life then. I guess we'll take that from you. Enjoy living in this quarantine ward with all the people with rheumatic fever and Spanish flu and shit. Like, it's probably a hellscape in there.
Probably bad.
Probably a lot of people vomiting and pooping. So she was also known in the newspaper as Typhoid Mary and the most dangerous woman in America. There's stories about her infecting people, pictures of her face, showing her, like, cooking up skulls and shit.
And she's just like, great.
Cool, no, it's fine. I have no life now, and
I did not mean to do this.
And America hates me. I love it here, in this horrible
So glad I came
ward.
here.
She's just sitting in a straitjacket, like, this is fine.
This is great.
So, she was known to have contaminated at least 122 people and killed 5 people. She's also maybe patient 0 for an outbreak that happened in New York. So, infecting, like, a shitload of other people, like thousands more people. Maybe that was her. She was a healthy carrier. She was the first one that they found. So, it was an entirely new concept when they found her. After they found her, they found 400 other healthy carriers. They didn't have to be in quarantine for the rest of their lives. So, Mary was really difficult the whole time. She never let them take out her
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe if she was a little more...
Maybe she was kind of bitter. She never let them take out her gallbladder. She fought them in the beginning really hard. Part of it is probably thinking it's the anti-Irish...
She's really attached to that gallbladder, I guess.
I think
Surgery was probably not as...
In the 1800s, I wouldn't want someone taking out my gallbladder on a hunch.
Like today, it's like, do it.
I mean, yeah, right now, hell yeah.
Get my appendix while you're at it.
Do I have to stay on this island, or can you take out my gallbladder and I can leave? Yes, let's do that.
Gallbladder, gone.
But for her, she's like, I don't even know if that's going to work, and I might die. And you guys don't seem to give a shit about me as a person, so I don't know how much I trust that. So, don't read my notes. You already know.
I already know.
You know all of it.
It's fine.
Cool, I'll just tell the audience.
Yeah.
Screw you. She was thinking that they were just trying to take her job. They took her job! She died there. She got, like, paralyzed on Christmas, and then she just went to the hospital and died. She just lived there till she died.
Oh, Jesus.
She had, like, a little cottage that she lived in for a while until she got paralyzed on Christmas.
Oh, my God.
And then she died in the hospital. It's really sad. Anyway, one of the reasons that they think she infected so many people, other than thinking that washing your hands is for losers,
it's not.
It's not. Wash your fucking hands. Is she was famous for like a fresh peaches and ice cream dish, where she's cutting up fresh peaches, just really fingering them with her, just really getting her fingernails, just like slipping the juice all over, and then sticking them in the ice cream. She's not making food and cooking it in an oven where the disease can get cooked off. She's just letting it germinate in there and feeding it to you like, here you are.
Yeah, our little Irish woman has like a southern drawl.
Here you are, mister. I can't do Irish.
No, you can't.
I can't do Southern either. Did you hear that? It was really bad.
Yes, I did. It was really bad.
So yeah, that's Typhoid Mary. She lived a sad life and then she died.
Damn.
Isn't that uplifting?
That's sad.
That
you know
is
what else
rough.
is sad?
Hmm.
Marley and me.
Marley and me.
So when I was younger, this is a sibling story, by the way. Bringing it up here. When I was younger, we were on our way up to our friend's cabin, and I was reading Marley and Me, and I reached the end while we were in a car ride up there, and I was in the back seat, and I'm just trying my hardest to just sob quietly. Like, nobody even noticed until at one point Mom turned around and goes, she had like a question for me, and then she looked at me and goes, "Oh, did you get to the end of the book?" And I was just like, yes. And I was just like, I was sobbing. Oh my God, it was horrible.
I'm playing on the Game Boy Advanced. I hear weird breathing. That's it. I don't look up. And then I hear Mom ask that, and I look over. You had been crying for what looked like years.
I came out of the womb sobbing. Well, I did actually.
Your face was so red and your eyes were bloodshot, and it was sad. It looked like a family member died. But it was just
In
a
a way-
fictional it was a fictional dog.
In a way, Marley was always part of my family.
He was. Bringing it back to dead dogs.
Well, if you would like to join our family, you can go ahead and follow us at Living Vicariously. We are going to be on all major social medias. That'll be Living Vicariously. Gonna have to fight that Google.
It does not want you to say it, spell it the way it's spelled.
Except for Twitter, we are Live Vicarious. If you want to send us your sibling stories so we can feature them on the podcast, send us your scary movie recommendations, your scary stories, or your paranormal experiences, go ahead and give us an email at livingvicariously@gmail.com. Until next time,
Poo hands.